Okay guys, what's going on? Kieran from Fingers Crossed. I'm sorry it's been a little while since I've uploaded a video. I've been like crazy busy and I'm trying to figure out how to get Master Duel to work. Like I needed to get a new MacBook and all sorts of stuff because Mac is pretty trash really. But yeah, so without further ado guys, we've got another Spriggans list. Again, I know this deck is not like very good, but it's just so fun to play, and I actually topped the locals. I came 4th place. Playing Spriggans, only lost to Dragon Link and BA. Yeah, I lost to BA because I can't help Dragoon really. It's quite difficult for me to do that. But yeah, it was crazy fun. I actually beat Virtual World, which was pretty good. Like I'll show you how in just a moment. But yeah, without further ado guys, let's get into the deck profile. So to start things with our big boy, we've got Captain Sargas. Realistically, you want to be ending with him on the field, so you can summon him with brothers in defense position, and then you can detach a material to pop a card on the field, a face-up card, which is pretty good. You can kind of control the game with like Merrymaker and Sargas. Depending, it's a couple of interruptions, and then obviously you have hand traps as well, which can be useful. So yeah, it's just hella fun, and look at him. He's such a cool guy. Hopefully in the new tins, they like some Spriggans get an upgrade. I would love that. Then we've got 2 Branga. So Branga, so obviously they all have the effect that you can attach them to a Spriggans XYZ. But Branga also has the effect that you can banish this and another Spriggans monster from your graveyard to add a Spriggans card from your deck to your hand, which is really good to like start fueling and get your plays going. Then we play 3 Rocky. So Rocky is good because if you normal summon or special summon him, you can either grab a Great Sand Sea Gold Kurgonda or a Spriggans monster in your graveyard and add it to your hand. So it's really good for you to be able to get back your field spell and or a particular monster that you might need. Then we've got Spriggans brother. So he's the newer Spriggans monster. So his effect is if he is sent from hand or deck to the graveyard, then you can special summon in defense position a Spriggans monster. So that's where it works well, where you make Merrymaker with Sargas in the graveyard, then you can send this from deck to graveyard with Merrymaker, and then you get to special summon Sargas, and then you can obviously attach this to your Merrymaker so that then Sargas technically has a pop. Really good. And again, it's just really fun to play. Pedals has a 1 in here. It's just another name. Realistically, he does have an effect that comes up sometimes. Is when he's normal summoned, you can tribute summon him to special summon a Spriggans monster from your grave. It comes up sometimes to be able to summon Sargas if you needed to do other plays to get him into the graveyard. With like Spriggans Watch, you can add to your hand and send Sargas to the graveyard, so it comes up that way. But again, just as a one-off is enough. You don't want to. His effect isn't good enough that you want to open him too much. Then of course guys, we are playing 2 Fallen of Albaz. So of course guys, you know on this channel, I love Fallen of Albaz. He needs to be played. I try and squeeze him in as many decks as I possibly can. I'm not gonna lie, I play him in Dragon Link, I play him in Red Eyes, I play him in Sword Soul. I'll play him in absolutely anything if I can get him in there and it makes sense. But again, he's just super poly. So what the interaction is when Merrymaker runs away, like banishes itself until the end phase, if it has 2 materials, then you can send a fusion monster that lists Fallen of Albaz from your deck to your graveyard, and then you can either so if you send, for example, Sprint can either special summon a Spriggans monster or Fallen of Albaz or add them to hand. So it's really good for like recursion and stuff like that. And super poly in the end phase means you can't get Veiled. And if they've set the Imperm, they can't use it. Set Chalice, they can't use it. So it comes up and it's really good. Because a lot of the time people don't think about Albaz. They're like, oh, when you say to them, Sprint can special summon or add to your hand a Spriggans monster, and they know you're playing Spriggans, that's what they think they're going to do. But then the surprise when you summon Albaz is just unbelievable. So yeah, 2 of him. Then we got 2 Ecclesia. Again, she works really well in this deck, obviously, because you don't always need your normal summon. So you can make Merrymaker, do a few more of your plays without your normal summon, and then you can normal summon Ecclesia for an interaction on your opponent's turn. So you can end with Merrymaker, Ecclesia, and Captain Sargas. So that's pretty good. You got like 3 interruptions, potentially with hand traps, maybe a couple of back row. So yeah, it's actually like kind of funny, but pretty good as well. Then we got 1 Albion the Shrouded Dragon. So this is just basically like you can send a branded spell or trap to the graveyard, and then you can set it to your field in the end phase because of their effects. And then this allows you to draw 1 card as well, or summon it. I've never actually used the summon. One day I'll try, but other than that, again, pretty good. Then we are unfortunately a hand trap deck, so we've got obviously the Gamma package, we've got 3 Nibiru's, and we've got 1 Veiler. The reason we only have 1 Veiler is because I play the Selene package in the extra deck, because going second with this deck can be kind of rough. So as long as you can get to like a Hulk or something like that, then yeah, it's pretty easy to mess out your opponent to make Hulk. So just into those. Then we've got, this is a field spell deck. So obviously I have 1 Terraforming and 3 Great Sea Sand Gold Gorgonda. So what you do is, if you do not control a Spriggans XYZ on the field, sorry I messed my camera up, a Spriggans monster, Spriggans XYZ on the field, then you can discard a Spriggans monster from your hand, and then you can summon 1. So it kind of like cheats out like Explorer or Merrymaker. It does suck sometimes if they leave the field, because you won't be able to reborn them, but you just make another one. You've got 3 Spriggans Watch, so it has 2 effects. If you don't have a Gold Gorgonda in your field spell zone, then it basically just adds 1 to your hand. If it does, then you get to add a Spriggans monster from your deck to your hand, and then Foolish Burial a Spriggans monster from your deck, which is pretty good. And then you've got Spriggans Booty, that you can activate it and then tribute it to activate a Gold Gorgonda straight from your deck. That's what that does. These 2 also have 2 separate effects. If an XYZ monster you control leaves the field, so like you run away with Merrymaker, then this can negate a monster on the field, and this can stop a monster from attacking that turn. So it does come up, does kind of like save your life points a little bit, and obviously if you've got Gamma and Nibiru in your hand, then you can kind of protect yourself a little bit if they try to go for game and stuff like that. But yeah, that's how all those cards work. So essentially we are playing what's that, like 10 copies of the field spell, so hopefully you're always going to open it 9 times out of 10. Then the way it works for the Albaz is branded in High Spirits. So there will be another deck profile coming out where I've used this in something else as well, but all this does is you reveal 1 monster in your hand, so it can be any Spriggans monster because they're all machines. And then you send 1 level 8 fusion monster from your extra deck to the graveyard. So because they're all machines, it would be Sprint. And then you can either add Ecclesia or Albion to your hand. And then obviously this is a draw with setting probably Screams of the branded. Ecclesia is your normal summon. And then on your next turn, you will actually, if you run away with Merrymaker and then Foolish Burialed a extra deck monster, then Branded and High Spirits will be able to add back to your hand. And then obviously Ecclesia would as well. So yeah, that's the way it works with this. It's really, really good. And it's crazy fun to be able to like either get an extra draw, which gives you, virtually Albion gives you a +1. So yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. That's the only way that this works with the Albaz stuff, and well, not the only way, but the best way that it works to get like a little bit more advantage. Then we play 1 branded in white. It's just nice. If you make Albion and then Albion goes to the graveyard, you can just add this, and then you can banish materials to make another fusion monster. Like Titaniclad can get up to like crazy figures depending on what fusion monster you sent, but normally it's like 37 attack, which is pretty good. So yeah, that's there. Then we got 2 Forbidden Chalice. I just prefer this more. Like if you're having to go second, I just prefer the option to be able to play and then interact when your opponent interacts, rather than imperm where you have to be like proactive. I prefer to be reactive. So yeah, Chalice was my weapon of choice for that in regards. And we have 4 traps. Got Spriggans cool. Like I'm sure you can guess what it does. You can either target 1 Spriggans monster or 4 Albaz in your graveyard and special summon it. So yeah, it's just nice to defend and stuff like that. And you got Spriggans Blast. So if you control a Spriggans monster, you can choose one opponent's main monster zone, and if a monster is face up in that zone, during this turn it cannot attack directly, also effects are negated. So it's a negation, but it targets a main monster's zone, so this can negate Dragoon because it doesn't target the monster, it just targets the zone. So that actually came up in the BA matchup, and it was quite funny, to be honest. It is a bit annoying that it's a main monster zone, so you can't do the extra deck, which is kind of rough if you're playing against like links and stuff like that. But yeah, other than that, it's a pretty strong contender, a pretty good card. Interluder is essentially a negate, so you shuffle back an XYZ monster and then you can negate a monster on the field. Is continuous as well, so it's like you can keep doing it, you can keep looping it, especially if you've got Gold or Ronda on the field. And then the final card, which is not a Spriggans one, is Screams at the Branded. So obviously you send it with Albion the Shrouded Dragon, and then Albion the Shrouded Dragons becomes Fallen of Albaz in the graveyard. So this on resolution is able to set itself to the field for additional plays, which is kind of nice, to be honest. Okay, moving on to the X deck. So for the Spriggans, hopefully there's no glare on this. I'll have to try and see. I think it should be okay. I can't see the Mirror Makers, but hopefully it's okay. So yeah, we've got 2 Spriggans Mirror Makers and 1 Explorer. So Explorer is, you can target, like, it's kind of like a better go on second card. You can like destroy cards on the field depending on how many materials it has. You target a zone and then you detach materials, and then you can like blow up the columns in a way. And then Spriggans Mirror Maker, they both have the effect that they run away into the end phase. And then Mirror Maker, if it does run away, then you can Foolish Burial a fusion monster that lists Albaz as a material. So yeah, that's how they work with that. Mirror Maker is normally the first choice if you're going first, because you summon it, and then when it's summoned you can Foolish Burial Spriggans monsters from your deck to the graveyard, and that is like quite fun. Gets your plays going, get your Sargass in the grave. Then we got 1 Gigant X. So I don't really make this too much, but it allows you just to add to your hand 1 machine type monster. I don't really make it very much, but it's still a good card nonetheless. For 1 Zeus, obviously it's an XYZ deck, and for those decks that some monsters are just too tough to out, you just make this. I try not to, because then kind of what I'm looking to do dies within this deck. You can't run away, summon Albaz, like it's not a thing. But yeah, I do like playing that. So it's kind of funny, for an XYZ deck I only play 5 XYZs. There is another deck profile I have coming soon with more, but for now that's what I'm playing. Then we've got, for our fusions, we've got 2 Sprint. So obviously you play 2 because you need it for Branded in High Spirits, and then sometimes you want to send it because if you can't summon Sargass in your first turn, then you can summon it from this if you've still got like plays for Albaz, which is it's nice to come up, to be honest. Then we've got Titaniclad. You don't use the second effect, which is normal what you'd use it for, but you just use it because it can come 3,700 attack, which is pretty nice. Albion is just like the best fusion monster at the moment for this deck until Lubellion comes out, and Mirror Jade. This is the best one because it allows you to fusion again, so you can make this, then you can make Titaniclad, or you can make this, then you can make something else, which is pretty nice. Got 1 Brigand. So this doesn't actually come up, like it's not very good, but it's just like as an extra super poly target, which is kind of nice. We've got 1 Starving Venom Fusion Dragon, just as another option, just for a super poly target. Finally, for our links, we've got 1 Nightmare Phoenix, obviously just to destroy some back row. We've got 1 Halki Firebrax. This is obviously for like silly stuff that we just can't, like things like, what's it called? There can be only 1 and stuff like that. Then we've got Crystal and Halki Firebrax. We've got 1 Celine, and we've got 1 access code, just to be able to like clear the board and just get some plays going and try and like be able to do stuff. Because with a certain hand you can make this, then obviously go into Celine, go into access code, pop a couple of things on their field, and then you'll be able to activate Gold Gorgonda and then continue with your plays for next turn if you didn't manage to OTK. So yeah, that's it for those. So yeah guys, hopefully you enjoy the deck profile. Spriggans is actually like just so fun, and I couldn't believe I topped. I'm actually going to play this again Sunday, a different build, probably with the Time Thief package. I'll show you guys that as much as I can. I did actually play this in the Master Duel XZ's tournament, and when I sort out my computer and stuff, I'll try to show that deck profile that I played for the tournament. If I can still have the screenshots or whatever. Unfortunately I don't have gameplay, but I can show you the wins and the losses. I think I played like 26 games, I only have 4 losses. It was it was crazy. I had so much fun playing Spriggans on the XZ tournament. But yeah, I'll show you guys that hopefully very soon. But yeah, thanks for watching guys. Let me know what you think down in the comment section down below, and I'll see you in the next video.